Welcome to Unlock Your True Potential. Before we begin this inspiring journey, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our weekly motivational stories that help you grow and transform your life. Your support keeps this message of hope alive, and your one click could inspire someone who needs to hear this today. Now let's begin a story that proves failure is not the opposite of success but the foundation of it, a story that shows how rock bottom can become the solid ground on which you build your life. This is the story of J.K. Rowling, the woman who turned pain into purpose, rejection into resilience, and imagination into immortality. Before she became one of the most famous authors on the planet, before her words created a world that captured the hearts of millions, before she became a billionaire, J.K. Rowling was a woman struggling to survive. She wasn't born into luxury or fame. She was born in a small town in England to ordinary parents. Her father was an aircraft engineer and her mother a science technician. They were simple people with simple dreams, but from a young age, Joanne Rowling dreamed differently. As a child, she found magic not in spells or potions but in stories. She loved writing and often created fantasy tales for her younger sister. She imagined worlds where good defeated evil, where friendship triumphed over fear, and where courage always won the day. But even though she had this vivid imagination, her real life wasn't a fairy tale. She grew up with financial struggles and emotional challenges. Her mother suffered from multiple sclerosis and her father grew distant. Joanne often felt lost and misunderstood, but instead of running away from her pain, she poured it into her writing. Books became her escape, paper and pen became her therapy. Her words were her way to make sense of the world. When she graduated from the University of Exeter with a degree in French and classics, she wasn't sure what direction to take. She tried different jobs: secretarial work, teaching, translation, but nothing seemed to fit. She felt like she was living someone else's life. Deep inside, she knew she was meant to write, but how could she pursue that dream when bills needed to be paid and society expected her to be practical? Then one day, while traveling on a delayed train from Manchester to London, the idea that would change her life forever appeared in her mind out of nowhere. She imagined a boy who didn't know he was a wizard, a boy who lived under the stairs and would one day discover his destiny. That moment gave birth to Harry Potter, but even then, Joanne didn't know that idea would one day become a cultural phenomenon. She began writing the story wherever she could, on scraps of paper, in cafes, on the train, at home late at night. But as she wrote, life hit her harder than ever. Her mother passed away after a long illness, leaving Joanne devastated. She felt lost and alone. She said later that her mother's death deeply influenced the tone of the Harry Potter books. That's why they carry so much emotion, loss, and love. After her mother's death, Joanne moved to Portugal to teach English. There she met a man and fell in love, but the relationship quickly turned toxic. They married and had a daughter, but soon after, her marriage fell apart. She found herself alone again, this time with a baby in her arms and no support. She returned to the United Kingdom heartbroken, jobless, and struggling to survive. It was one of the darkest periods of her life. She lived on government assistance and could barely afford food. She described herself as being as poor as it's possible to be in modern Britain without being homeless. She often walked her baby in a stroller through the streets of Edinburgh just to help her fall asleep. Then she would stop at a local cafe, order a cheap coffee, and begin writing. She wrote while her daughter slept beside her. Those moments were quiet but powerful because they were the moments when she refused to give up. She said later, "Rock bottom became the solid foundation on which I rebuilt my life." Think about that. She didn't run from her pain, she built from it. She didn't wait for perfect conditions, she created in chaos. For 5 long years she worked on her manuscript, rewriting, editing, and shaping the world of Harry Potter. When she finally finished, she sent the manuscript to publishers and waited, but what came back were rejections. One after another. 12 publishing houses turned her down. Some didn't even bother to respond. They said her story was too long, too strange, too different. They told her that children wouldn't read such a complicated book. Can you imagine that feeling after pouring your soul into your dream? The world tells you it's not good enough, but instead of letting rejection define her, she let it strengthen her. She didn't stop. She kept believing that her story mattered, and then one day a small publishing house named Bloomsbury took a chance on her. They printed just 500 copies of the first Harry Potter book, and the rest is history. Within months the book began to spread like wildfire. Children who had never loved reading before were suddenly enchanted by Harry's world. Bookstores couldn't keep up with demand. Readers lined up for hours to get the next book. Harry Potter became a global phenomenon, translated into dozens of languages and loved by millions around the world. The series sold over 500 million copies and became the best-selling book series in history. The films grossed billions of dollars, but beyond the fame and fortune, the real success was deeper. J.K. Rowling had turned her pain into purpose. She had transformed her failures into lessons. Her words inspired generations, not just to believe in magic but to believe in themselves. She once said, "It is impossible to live without failing at something unless you live so cautiously that you might as well not have lived at all." Those words come from a woman who knows what it's like to lose everything and still find herself. She knows what it means to be invisible and then to rise so high that the world can't ignore you anymore. Her journey teaches us that rejection is not a wall, it's a door disguised as a challenge. Her story reminds us that success is not built on talent alone, it's built on persistence. When the world tells you no, you don't stop, you find another way. What makes J.K. Rowling's story so powerful is that she didn't write Harry Potter for fame or money. She wrote because she had to, because her heart demanded it, because her imagination was stronger than her circumstances. That's what true passion looks like. True passion doesn't ask for permission, it doesn't wait for opportunity, it creates it. Every page she wrote in that cafe was an act of faith that her words could make a difference, faith that one day her story would reach someone who needed it the most, and it did. It reached millions. It gave hope to children who felt unseen. It taught adults that courage and friendship still matter, and it reminded everyone that no matter where you come from, greatness is possible. Her journey also teaches us about gratitude and humility. Even after all the success, Rowling never forgot where she came from. She continued to give generously to charities supporting children, education, and mental health. She used her platform not to boast but to lift others. That's the true mark of greatness. So what can we learn from J.K. Rowling's life? First, that failure is not fatal, it's feedback. Second, that your circumstances don't define you, your choices do. And third, that your imagination is your greatest power. Every time you fail, you are being prepared for something greater. Every time life closes a door, it's pushing you toward another that leads closer to your destiny. Failure is not the end, it's the beginning of a new chapter. Just like Rowling's story started with loss and rejection, yours can begin today with belief and action. Maybe right now you're struggling, you're rejected, you feel unseen, you're tired and ready to give up. But remember, J.K. Rowling was once sitting in that same cafe thinking her life was over, and yet she wrote her way to glory. She didn't know the world would love her, she just knew she had to try. And that's what I want you to remember today. You don't need certainty to start, you just need courage. You don't need approval to create, you just need faith in yourself, because the world will never believe in you until you believe in yourself first. The people who change the world are not the ones who never fail, they're the ones who never quit. Every rejection, every struggle, every lonely night is shaping your story. Your life may not look magical right now, but magic is created in the unseen moments, the moments when you keep going even when no one is watching. J.K. Rowling turned her greatest pain into her greatest purpose. She taught us that imagination is not an escape from reality, it's a way to transform it. She reminds us that everyone has a story to tell, and sometimes that story can change the world. If you're watching this right now, maybe your dream feels impossible, maybe the world has told you it's too late, too risky, too unrealistic, but let me tell you something, so did they to J.K. Rowling. She had every reason to quit, but she didn't. She wrote anyway, she believed anyway, and because she did, millions found hope. So what's your Harry Potter? What's the dream you've been hiding because you're afraid it won't work out? What story are you waiting to tell? What gift are you afraid to share? The world is waiting for your magic, your ideas, your courage. You are not too late, you are not too small, you are not too broken, you are simply unfinished, and that means your best chapter is yet to come. So write it, build it, live it, believe in it. The next great story of success might just be yours. Before we end, take a moment to like this video. If this story touched your heart, comment below what part of J.K. Rowling's journey inspired you the most. Share it with someone who is struggling right now, because this message might be the light they need today. And don't forget to subscribe to unlock your true potential for more powerful motivational stories every week. Remember this: failure is not your enemy, it's your mentor. Rejection is not your stop sign, it's your direction. When life pushes you down, stand taller than before, because every great story begins with someone who refused to give up. Your moment will come. Keep believing, keep creating, and keep unlocking your true potential.